Frustrating supply chains in the news? Just take a deep breath. If you're anywhere near Oak Island, come by Seaside Jewelers, 8801 East Oak Island Drive. Avoid the traffic, the lines, the frustration, and get that extraordinary and special gift. From high-end diamond rings to Larimar, from necklaces to bracelets, watches, and unique jewelry, and you also get one-on-one service with their experienced staff. Great prices now, just in time for the holidays. Come by and check out Seaside Jewelers, 8801 East Oak Island Drive.
This week on All Things Brunswick, our guest will be Chad Adams. Chad will be joining us to discuss recent events in the news and much more. Join us 6 p.m. Tuesday right here on The Big Talker.
If you're enjoying the content you find on Big Talker, any of your shows, all the hosts, you really need to make sure you're following and liking us on Facebook. There's a video section. You can watch all the live video of programs as they happen. You can also see video of past content that you may have missed for whatever reason. Plus, even better, you can share it with a friend. Let other people know how much you enjoy the Big Talker and the great content we provide, and interact with other listeners and the hosts in the comment section live as it happens. Big Talker Net on Facebook.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Still under development in a lot of ways. If you would, please visit the Big Talker website at bigtalker.live. You can send an email with any comments, questions, concerns, or a request for a morning host who knows what he's doing. That's always welcomed. You can peruse our schedule of content. Check out the wonderful lineup of programming, when new shows will land, all that good stuff. What else is interesting? The Big Talker website. Oh, the app. Download the app for the Android and iOS devices. That's 90% of what we do. But yeah, if you would, everybody should go to the Big Talker website. Send an email requesting a morning host who knows what he's doing, not some liberal hippie who's just marching time. I do it because I love you guys. We're trying to do something. I'm injured, so it takes a minute. I'm a little slower than normal. But that's what happens when you lose your opposable thumb. I like this track. This is one of them. I can't remember where I stole this from. I think I may have made this. I could be wrong. Not that important. We'll see if it works. Yeah, it's sent. Still enjoying the music. How's that for a surprise? Had a bit of a rant yesterday about the banning of books. Apparently there's a lot of arguments about that. Finally, I think we have an adult in the room. That would be awesome. Morning, Andrew. How are you feeling, sir?
Morning. How are you?
I'm up. Much against my own free will. I heard you had covered the bit in Kentucky, some of my old neighborhood. I moved here from Louisville.
Yeah, mine too. I lived in Nashville for a couple of years while I was working in the Huntington, South Point, Ohio, Huntington, West Virginia, Ashland area there. I lived in Ashland, Kentucky, which it's all the same area. It doesn't matter which side of which river you're over. But yeah, Ashland's a great little city. Loved living there. Cool little downtown. I liked Ashland.
That's where my ex-wife lives. That's my entire ex-wife's family.
That's not my. That's what you call a you problem. That's not my problem. But no, Ashland's
to be
Yeah, Ashland's a cool little town, but Yeah, we went back to the flooding. Of course, some flooding in West Virginia, real close to where I grew up, where I did a lot of my traveling over the years, up and down U.S. Route 60 in the Upper Kanawha Valley. Flooded last week really bad, but something people don't think about when they flood is, and I didn't know this, so just quick story since you got nothing else going on. The back in 2016 when West Virginia had those really, really bad floods, I went home. I was actually really sick. It was right before I went down to Duke. This is in June and July, and August is when I went into Duke and stayed there for 5 months. So I was really sick, but I was like, no, I can't do anything, but let me at least go home and show some support. So I went back home when the floods happened. The church I grew up in was running as an emergency shelter, and they had built it for that purpose. They had a gym facility that has showers in it and an industrial kitchen in it, and they had built it so that the National Guard could bring a generator and hook a generator up to the whole building and run it as an emergency shelter. It's one of the reasons they built it that way, right?
Okay.
So when I go in there, the gym is completely full of cots, including the upstairs area. The stage area is been, there's a big curtain for the stage area on the end. It's typical multi-purpose building. You have a stage on one end, then the gym, full-size basketball court, gym on one side, and then you got a kitchen and eating area and classrooms down the other end, right? And then upstairs those classrooms you got, and then upstairs of that you got more areas. So they had all those different areas split off for living areas. They had cots on the main floor, and then they had a bunch of different stations, and then they just had, and I'm a transportation warehouse guy. I've been in warehouses all my life. It was just, supplies stacked floor to ceiling as far as you could see. But something I didn't consider, and they didn't consider either until it happened, they had to do it kind of impromptu. And my daughter was actually one of the ones that was kind of helping head this up at the time. Everybody started showing up with pets because when you FEMA condemns your home.
No animals.
Yeah, like they literally red spray paint the front door, and they're like, get out and don't come back. So these people are going into temporary housing. They're in shelters like at the church where you're just sleeping on a cot in the middle of a gym floor, this kind of stuff, and they didn't have anywhere to put their pets. So all of a sudden what happened was out in the parking lot, they put up a big kind of tent area and crates, and all of a sudden they've got a couple hundred animals out there. I mean, it's
got a little
it's
petting
crazy
zoo happening.
It took up at one point they had 3 people full-time 24/7 working shifts just taking care of the animals. There was that many pets because people don't think about that part of it. And of course the people's got to come first, but then you got to do something with these things. So just massive amounts of pet food needed. Somebody had, they had to set up a couple of corral kind of areas where one of the farmers brought some mobile fencing, so they had some corral areas where they could run.
Like little dog.
Then you had to have, you had to have crates for them to sleep in. Then you got to rotate them in and out between the two. It took up a lot of manpower, but kind of turning the teenagers and the youth group of the church, that kind of became their pet project, right? Because you can't really let them go into the disaster area. And let's be honest, there's some folks, you have to have police there because there's a certain element that is now displaced that you gotta kind of keep an eye on certain folks. So you got to be careful where you let the teens help out at. So that turned out to be the perfect thing for them, and they excelled at it. Long story short,
a bunch of veterinarians from that, I bet.
Probably, but long story short out of that is when you do disasters like a flood or a hurricane, this always happens. If you're into pet charities, that's a good time to give to them. You can do different things. You can actually go to chewy.com, which is a great company, by the way. It's just a really good company. They do pet supplies by mail, but they're a really good ethical company. You can actually go to their website and just donate bags of dog food, cat food, whatever, and they'll see it gets to wherever. You can designate it to go directly to a shelter, and they'll deliver it for free. Like you just buy the food and say, hey, ship it here, and they'll do it. So stuff like that. You're a week after the flood, 2 weeks after 3 weeks after the Kentucky flooding. This kind of little stuff after that initial wave of support matters to people. Can you imagine losing everything, but you got your pet? That's meaningful to folks. So it's just little stuff like that you can do. So we covered that on our end of the show segment today.
Yep. I was remembering that, and your a guest again, I can't remember her name, but she has the best Machiavelli merch I've ever seen.
Amanda Griffin. We've been playing excerpts. That's the podcast for this past weekend, the deep dive on Machiavelli. It is fantastic. I'm so proud of it. We loved making it. I hope folks seem to love listening to it. So I did another excerpt again today on the founding fathers. John Adams specifically was really into Machiavelli. He was so into it that he actually, when somebody's a scholar on something, when they start writing about what other people are writing about something.
Yeah, that's
and Adams
research.
Yeah, because that means you're really researching it. Adams had gone that deep on Machiavelli. He would write about what other people had wrote about. Some of the same influences that he was using to put together what we now call the Constitution. Rousseau and some of these other philosophers, he would write about what they wrote about Machiavelli, which was really funny because later on in the podcast we get into it. Rousseau actually argued that the whole thing was an allegory. So I asked Amanda that, and she actually laughed at it, and we got into that a little bit. It's really fun, interesting stuff. I hope people find it. But we did another excerpt of it because people are just loving it so much. But yeah, Machiavelli, man, that podcast is up and available. We'll get it cut up for Big Talker too, since it's getting so popular. If you want it,
please.
It's really really a good podcast. And then our guest today is one of our. Yeah, our guest today is one of my favorites. We haven't had her on for a while because she was moving. She's been out in Montana. She just moved to Boston. Talk about a change of scenery. But Dr. Catherine Gordon's back on the program talking mental health. She does the coolest thing with her podcasting and writing. They use movies and pop culture and comic books and stuff like that to talk about mental health. So we talk about a couple things. She just watched the new She-Hulk that just came out on Disney. Talk about Stranger Things. Talk about Game of Thrones, the new House of the Dragon series that came out. Also talked a little bit about, we've got some data now on what COVID did to us mental health wise. So that's out there. But we did something really fun. So instead of just talking about things in the abstract, I just went through and read her some of the headlines and narratives from the current news cycle. Just read them to her and got her instant reaction. Things like red flag laws with gun laws, things like, stuff like that, and just get her reaction to it. It's really good stuff. Really proud of our program today. I think yesterday and today we've had two really solid shows back to back.
They far outpace my own, I will say that. And a fun fact.
I know, but I don't like to say that out loud.
I will. I got a fun fact for you.
Okay.
I portrayed John Adams on TV.
When was this?
Oh my God, this was before I got married, so that would have been 80, 90...
So 90. Paul Giamatti's got nothing on you, huh?
Well, it was more about the argument, the producer who has unfortunately passed away, a brilliant lawyer. I mean, he actually went through like 5 careers. He would get bored with being an airline pilot, so he got his law degree. He got bored with being a lawyer, so he became an advocate. He got bored with being an advocate, it was crazy. The man was amazing. And his video that he was producing with me as John Adams was more about your personal rights to representation. Even if you are guilty, you deserve. So
you were in a lawyer video. You were in a lawyer commercial.
It wasn't a lawyer commercial. It was more an informational piece on what John Adams did before he was president. What he did when those British soldiers were being, they were about to get lynched, stabbed, shot, killed in the street.
Yeah. The John Adams mini, I was talking about Paul Giamatti. He played John Adams in the HBO miniseries. This is really, really good. Everybody ought to go watch it. That's what they open with. Open with John Adams. Yeah, they open with John Adams defending the British soldiers from the Boston Massacre.
A very unpopular move at the time, but certainly one that really put in place the integrity of.
He won, by the way, for those of you that don't know your history.
He was very much dedicated to the concept that is like, well, if we kill these guys, what does our Constitution mean?
Right.
If we just,
nothing. It meant nothing.
If we are going to be, this is our first test. Wow. I mean, can you imagine how heavy that was? No electricity, no internet, no running water. You're still
trying to figure out how Adams was famously short and stocky, and you're tall and wiry and hippie-ish. So I'm trying to figure out how the portrayal worked here.
Budget.
I got you. All right.
I did it for a sandwich.
Okay.
And the concept. I like the concept. I mean,
So they took some liberty. They took a liberty to have a pun on a pun.
Oh, yeah. You kind of have to get the point across, and I don't think that the point was lost. The another video he did actually exonerated, I believe, 11 women that had been imprisoned for killing their abusive husbands. Most of the stories had developed over 7 or 8 years, and he was like, "This is wrong." So he put his own butt on the line and made a video with me on these stories, and
this has to be on YouTube somewhere, yeah.
Oh, this is pre-YouTube, dude. This is like
no, but it needs to. We need to get it on YouTube for posterity.
If we can find it. He's gone, and I've lost contact with his son.
It's got to be out here. It's got to be out there somewhere.
Good luck.
I mean, this is way above the Stephen P. New lawyer commercials of.
Oh yeah.
Call Stephen P. New if you need to sue. So we'll make it work.
All right, I got to remember his name now. I remember Bill.
I'm just a Bill. A lonely old Bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. That kind of Bill?
Yep. The one that takes money to move. Speaking of, no, I'm kidding. There was something that hit my news box earlier today, and I wasn't entirely sure how this is. Not enough coffee, I'm sorry.
I need a complete sentence to work off of here.
And they are just not in my skull.
You got to give me something to work with. You got to give me something to work with here.
Okay, Bookman.
I mean, I'm good, but dang, I'm not, Moses out here. You got to at least put it on a tablet for me.
You're better than I am. Then how about book bans? Let's ban more books. Let's ban the Bible.
This again.
Man, dude, I'm going for I am laying on my back, unable to walk, reaching for the lowest fruit I can find. There's a rotten apple next to me.
Can I tell a story about this real quick because I've had it on my mind?
Please, you're doing better than I am. Because I like books.
Can I do a prayer in school story?
Is prayer in school allowed?
Yeah, you can pray wherever you want to. Now, you want to make a big display out of it, we got to have a conversation.
Okay. I'm with you so far. It's almost like
people don't want to have it. My father was, of course, a school teacher, and back in the early 90s, I think, they were having this prayer in school debate again. He was also a bivocational minister. So they were going to have this big school board meeting. And they figured he'd be the perfect guy for it because he was well respected as an educator. He was also a bivocational pastor. So they're going to have this big school board meeting about prayer in school, and they're going to have him speak, and he'll be the big, the go home speech to get this thing passed, right? So they have the school board meeting. Everybody shows up, and they tell Dad to come up here and talk about prayer in school. So he gets up and he goes up to the lectern, but instead of standing behind the lectern to talk to the dais, he turns around, goes to the other side of the lectern, turns around, looks at the room. And everybody's wondering what he was going to say. And he said, "Here's the deal." He didn't say "here's the deal" because he doesn't talk like that, but he goes, "Here's the deal." He said, "I'm all for prayer in school. My problem is I know all of you. I've been in your homes. I've been in most of your churches. And until I'm convinced that you're doing prayer in your home and churches, I don't think you should be telling anybody to do it at school." Walks out.
Boom. That's like the first recorded mic drop.
And his point was like, y'all don't pray in your churches and you don't pray at home. Why are you forcing this onto the school?
Yeah, you're mandating what you won't do at home.
Yeah, he's like, once I'm convinced y'all doing it in your homes and your churches, then we'll talk about it, and walks out. That was the end of that.
Now, is this still true? Do you think?
It keeps coming. Here's your problem. Lauren Boebert, the bobble-headed congresswoman from Colorado, she brought this up. It was like, well, we need to have mandatory Bible class in schools, and this pops up every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
Here's your problem. By the way, I got a theology degree, so if you really want to argue the ins and outs of this, we can, but I'm going to try to keep this a little level. Here's your problem. If you can't take 3 churches of the same denomination and get them to agree on what the Bible says. You can't get people in the same church a lot of the times to agree with what the Bible says. They argue about everything. They argue about the color of the carpet, let alone what kind of doctrine to teach.
How about the Catholic guy that was chastised by his church for conducting Mass in his swimsuit using a floating mattress as an altar for a kids camp.
But I mean, it's Catholicism is a whole different. It's a whole different ball of wax.
Performative BS.
But Catholic Church is a whole different beast. But the point is, you folks, to steal what Dad was talking about, you folks can't agree what to teach about the Bible in your own churches. How in the world are you going to dictate to a school system what they're going to teach?
Amen. And
like, there's so many doctrinals in which we can't get churches to agree on which version of the Bible to read.
And then we have the issue of which religion.
Like, it's idiotic. And then
like if
we have freedom of religion. If you teach Bible, you're going to have to teach the Torah, you're going to have to teach the Quran, you're going to have to teach the Bava Kah. Like,
Yep.
You
and
better,
I'm for
this
that.
Is one of those
just
things,
have a Joseph Campbell class.
Oh, I had Introduction to Religion where they taught all the major. I had a class in school. One of the favorite classes I ever had was called Discerning the Times, and it had the major worldviews. And it had the Judeo-Christian worldview, and it had the secular worldview, and it had the Islamic worldview, and it had the Eastern religion, Hindu Buddhist worldview kind of combined. One of the best classes I ever took. I loved it. You want to talk about informative, how the world works, how people think kind of stuff. It was excellent. Mr. Stigliano taught.
I was going to say your teacher
Fantastic
was probably memorable as well because the subject would have been something he was engrossed in.
Oh God, he was so good. Other than him say we always make fun of him because he pronounced mature because he was a Yankee. Mature, you have to be mature, and we're like manure, like no mature, like manure. Because remember, this is West Virginia. There's an accent issue. But no, really good guy. He was actually our principal at the time, and that was his pet project. He taught that class. But God, you want to talk about a foundational class for? I think we were juniors. I think we were juniors in high school when we took that. You want to talk about a foundational class that really gives you global perspective. Like, it really did. It gave you perspective. I love that class. So I'm all for it. But the problem is probably. But the problem you get into is it sounds great online, but buzzword online crap, when you go to teach something, you actually have to put it down on paper what you're teaching. And there's no way you'd ever get it done. So you're wasting my time with advocating for it in the first place. Not to mention the fact that teacher, it would get knocked down in court in 3 seconds anyway. It's just something that people who know better say it to make people feel good without thinking about, hey, I'm a practical guy. I'm an AB guy. I'm glad my background's in transportation. So when I talk politics, you can't dazzle me with the buzzwords like, okay, if you make this law, what's the law say? Because the black and white of the law matters. How are you going to implement this? How does people going to actually go out and do this? And if they can't do it, you're wasting my time if there's no practical application to it. There's no practical application to this. It's never going to happen. You're wasting my time. Shut up, you dreaded harpy.
Now, the bobbleheaded person, Bobert, is that how it's pronounced?
Lauren Bobbert.
Not helping my mind. So her
and I can hear the commenters already. I don't care that she says conservative stuff. Like, I can find conservative stuff coming out of somebody that's competent and a full-grown, fully functional adult too.
Yes, and
in fact, I prefer my conservatism to come from fully functional adults. Like, they have the right enemies and say the right things. I don't care if they're a bad person. They're a bad person. It doesn't matter if I agree with them. I can find people I agree with. This is why I stopped arguing with people online a lot. Because they're like, well, he's right about this one thing. I'm like, yeah, I can find that right about that one thing without all the other BS that surrounds this, bad human being. These bad human beings want you to focus on the one thing you agree with them on and not the 20 things about why they're unfit for office. No, sorry, that's not how that works. That ratio's backwards. Sorry.
Completely. Now, is this a fundraising, grifting type of move on Bobbert's part?
Well, no, she probably really believes it, but yeah, it's an attention grab because she's not the first to say it. And she's not.
Oh my God, I've been searched. I need money.
She's not the first to say it, and she's not the last to say it. But ask them, like, okay, how are you going to implement that? We're going to have prayer in school. Okay, how are you going to implement that? Are you going to make every kid pray? Who are they going to pray to? And what language are they going to use? Do you know how many churches would fight? There's church. You could take. I'm just picking one here. I'm not picking on anybody, but I is one, so I'll pick on them. You can take 4 Baptist churches and say the same prayer in all 4, and I guarantee you somebody will get offended with how you did that prayer in each of the 4 churches, even though they're all nominally the same kind of church.
But they still
because
won't do
people
anything
are
about
people are
these
petty
scandals.
and silly and get weird about their religion. Like, you can't. The idea that our pluralistic, inclusive, diverse society, you're going to be able to teach one way of thinking is just, number one, it's arrogance, and number two is it's ignorance. You're just being dumb.
This
Like,
seems
you're
to be a
more
common
of a
element.
minority than you think you are. Yeah, you got to be tolerant of other people. It's crazy.
But that seems to be a bad word among conservative people. My conversation with one of my guests yesterday was using that as a pejorative, being tolerant, being woke. And it's like, wait a minute, this
Yeah,
is,
woke's another one.
right.
I let people like, well, we're going to be, okay, define woke. Like, I'm not even going to talk to you until you define woke. Because it means because here's the thing about woke, it means whatever you want it to mean.
At that
That's
time.
which is why people use it. They're like, well, it's just woke. They're woke. They're woke. Woke, 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 woke. It's like the Barber of Seville. You can't even hear the lyrics or the words. It's just like, woke, 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 woke. Okay, what are you actually accomplishing here? What's your principle? Quit being anti and start being for somebody. What's your principle? Well, I'm anti-woke. Fine. What's woke mean? What's your counter space
help?
to fill that vacuum up? Are you going to talk about personal responsibility? Are you going to talk about the Constitution? Are you going to talk about individual rights? What's your counter narrative? Because too much of this is just like, I'm against the woke. I'm like, okay, what's woke mean? Woke means whatever you want it to mean, so therefore you're automatically just fine. It's just all masturbatory nonsense. Like, I'm not wasting my time with the woke argument. That's silliness. Put away your childish things and let's go talk about some policy. Let's talk about some
making up words or new meanings for words that we can use to throw around to see which team you're on.
Well, you can find out real quick, because just when somebody says woke, ask them what woke means. And it's going to turn into some, and eventually you're going to distill it down to some version of, oh, well, woke is just everything I don't agree with, and that's woke. That's what it's always going to turn into. And by the way, our progressive friends do the same thing. They do. This is why I almost completely quit using the terms liberal and conservative when I write and when I advocate, because they don't mean anything. Because if I'm talking to a progressive audience, they think everything that's not progressive is conservative and everything that's conservative is bad. They do the same thing with conservative that conservatives are doing with woke. They do the exact same thing. Conservative. Oh, them darn conservative, them dirty conservatives. It's just stupid. And it's like, it's like listening to Morse code after a while. It's just it's like, just God Almighty, shut up, just stop. So everybody does this, but right now the right is absolutely obsessed over woke, and it's a buzzword, and it trends well, and it fundraises well. So we got like Ron DeSantis's of the world going on. Florida is where woke goes to die. I'm like, I don't know how that's going to play in the villages. You might want to make sure you cover that. But he's like, This is where woke goes to die. Woke will not. I'm like, dude, you're the governor of a pretty important state. You're Ivy League educated, by the way. So he knows this is all stupid performative, but he's playing the game because he wants to be president someday.
Pro wrestling.
Like, dude, yeah, it's pro wrestling. He's just cutting a promo on woke. That's all he's doing. He's cutting a pro. I got Eric Garcia on today.
It's not like he's actually participating in the conversation. He's just trying to negate the conversation before it ever starts.
That's what it is. You're cutting a promo that is just feeding the people what they want to hear without actually accomplishing. I got Eric Garcia. I'm recording with Eric Garcia today. I'm going to ask him about this because he covers Congress. I'm going to ask him what the Congress critters and Senate people think about this woke argument.
I would love.
Thank you for reminding me. So I'm recording with him today. I'm going to ask him about woke. But yeah, I encourage people, listen, skip the buzzwords. Talk about the stuff that really matters, because talking about woke doesn't matter because it doesn't exist. It's just a made up word about made up stuff. And everybody's just, I know there's people got mad at me for saying that, like, no, woke is real. They're forcing it down our throats. I'm like, okay, but be specific. What are they forcing down your throat that you don't like? What is it they're putting in the school system? Don't just say woke because nobody cares and or knows what that means. What specifically is it? Because you can't craft policy and you can't rally people around something that is just a made up word. No. If they're pushing an agenda in the school, and I got all kinds of problems with the school system. If they're pushing an agenda in the school system that's derogatory to children, name that instead of just saying woke and running with quit being. It's laziness. Quit being lazy. Quit saying woke. Say what's actually wrong. Well, they're pushing a narrative in the school system that is not conducive to teaching the basics of education. Fine, fantastic. I'm with you. Let's do that. They're pushing woke in school. Nope, not with you, because that doesn't mean anything. That's not going to accomplish anything. You see the difference?
Oh yeah, I'm wondering
Does that make sense?
There's
like
a half
like
a
with
million words in our English language, and I think a number of them have been hijacked for the emotional response, such as woke,
woke
such as
is
trans.
the one of the, look, woke is just the new liberal and conservative argument. It's the exact same crap.
We've just
the
shortened it
liberals
to a single word.
Yeah, it's just woke.
But we've
because it's easy
hijacked
to
the
say.
word. Because now I can't say I woke up this morning. Oh my God, you're a liberal now?
Oh,
you
you're
can't
woke.
be gay because gay used to mean happy, but you can't be happy anymore because that would make you LGBTQ.
My favorite is every now and then you get these real hardcore, really unfaithful folks who are like, they like to throw around words like traitors, and they're like, you're an oath breaker. If you're a veteran and you don't believe like me, you're an oath breaker. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, you ignorant,
never heard
insipidous
that one,
moron?
God.
I've gotten that one thrown at me a couple times. Like, I'll tell you what, you can talk about my oath breaking next time you come lay on the table at the VA and do a procedure for me. Until then, you can't tell me what I think about my country. Shut up. Go over to the Keurig, make yourself a nice cup, and shut the F up. Because I'm over it.
And
oath
if you
breaker,
didn't vote,
traitor.
you really should just leave the building.
These people slinging around terms like traitor. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop and think. If you're a traitor, that means I need to hunt you down and kill you. Legally, by the way, because treason is a death penalty offense. Maybe you should be a little slower in using traitor. But when you're online and you've got the power of the keyboard protecting
And
you from
caps
real
lock.
world, and your little avatar is protecting you from any real life consequences. See, I'm actually out here under my real name with my real picture on my avatar, so I actually have to think about what I put out there because I hold myself to that standard and my kids follow me. Like, you go ahead, Mr. Anonymous, Freedom 8675309, whatever your Twitter handle is. You go ahead and impugn my patriotism when I'm out here, under my real name doing real stuff, trying to actually do something productive here. You go ahead and send your little buzzwords because I don't think you know what any of those things mean. I'm pretty sure I didn't see you in Balad. You want to really get down to it, buddy. Whatever.
And that's part of the issue with, having 500,000 words in the English language and having these overly educated yet incredibly dull people using such bizarre terminology.
When you just do buzzwords, it dulls you down from actually being intellectually curious about stuff. If you're just chanting along with the crowd, this is why I don't like political rallies. If you're just chanting along with the crowd, it dulls your intellectual curiosity. It dulls down your senses of being discerning and thinking critically. You should question just about everything in a healthy manner. You need to question your own beliefs because that's how you refine them, and that's how you get to the truth, and that's how you become better at arguing your own point. And you can't do that if you're doing sing-along chants, because sing-along chants groove your brain. And there's all kinds of data about this, by the way. Chanting and things like that and songs, it grooves your brain to just do a repetitive motion instead of thinking. That's why it feels good to sing a song, because you don't have to think. You don't have to put effort into it. It just falls into that groove in your brain, and the endorphins kick in, and you feel good. So quit chanting along with the mob and actually do some thinking and be a citizen instead of being a clone.
But I think that falls true in everything from a personal craft to a art craft to being a decent human being.
Yeah, but decency starts with effort.
I thought this was the goal of being a human being. I must have missed a memo on this new way of being a human because I was under the impression you continually improve yourself, you refine your beliefs, you challenge yourself.
Yep.
But I guess I'm just supposed to, swing my little towel or flag or whatever and join in on the chorus and not questioning it. I'm born in the wrong century. I should have been raising a barn with Benjamin Franklin. I would have had a blast in the storm with his kite.
I can't stop watching this viral video of the Amish doing a one-day barn raising. I just keep watching it over and over again.
Is that where the whole crowd of them pick up the barn and carry it up the hill?
No, it's like a couple hundred of them all show up and they build a whole barn in like one day.
Oh, okay. Because I saw
Like
one
it's
where
just
they moved the
insane to
barn.
watch.
I mean, they all got together.
No, I've seen
and
that one
picked-
too.
That
They just
is
take it
ridiculous.
Yeah, they just take it apart, and they like a couple hundred of them carry one wall, and a couple hundred carry the other wall, and they just walk it up the hill. Like
walk it up the hill.
I mean, that literally, they're carrying the side of the building and just walk it wherever they're going to go and put it up in the new place. Like,
And
what?
I bet you money, not one of them has a gym membership.
There wasn't no union break in that crew. All right, I got to get out of here. All right, buddy, you have a good day. Guys, check out Herd Tell. It's a really good episode today. Great episode tomorrow. Great episode yesterday. That Herd Tell podcast, however you're getting our program, I'll get it over to TK. We'll go ahead and put it up on Big Talker, too, because I think it's good enough for that.
Oh, yeah.
The Machiavelli podcast is so good. Amanda Griffiths is brilliant. We've already planned on getting her back. We're going to do a communism deep dive with her. And we're going to do a couple other. We're going to have her back more than once. Mental health with Dr. Katie this morning. Do not miss it. That's one of those things I talk about. Things that matter. If you're not taking care of your mental health, your political viewpoint doesn't really matter. Now you're just literally a crazy person yelling.
Sickness. Yeah.
You're literally going to be a crazy person yelling into the void. You got to take care of yourself and take care of each other. So we talk a little mental health today. Great stuff. We also get in that viral video of the police beating it out in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Once you see the
Mulberry,
cameras,
Arkansas. Yeah.
That was brutal.
I talk about it on the show today. The tell is when they notice that the camera is on them and they immediately stop. That's the tell.
Ooh.
It's like the kid every one of us has been caught by their parent, and you immediately stop what you're doing without thinking about it because you knew what you were doing was wrong. You didn't have to say, "Oh, I need to stop." You just stopped.
Animals.
That's exactly what happened there.
If you have a dog and they're doing something and you yell their name, they know immediately.
Yeah.
So a dog with the intellectual capacity of a 3-year-old can figure this out.
We gave the full context today. This was a violent criminal who had just done violence to somebody and had threatened to do more violence. So the police were not wrong to do violence to stop him. That wasn't the problem here. The problem was they went too far and lost their minds. And they lost their heads beating on this guy because he was fighting with them. And the way we know that is because when they realized they were on camera, they immediately stopped beating him.
Which, as a human being, it's easy to lose that mindset. But as a trained professional,
I've been in a fight or two. I get it. You lose your head. Here's your problem. You've got a badge and a gun. You are trained and paid to not lose your head.
Yep.
That is literally your job, is to have controlled violence against violent people for the benefit of the rest of society. Your standard is higher. So no, you don't get to do that. I mean, this is not hard stuff. The whole tell on this video is when they knew they were on camera, they stopped beating the dude. That's the whole story. That's everything you need to know. Their own actions tell you exactly what they were thinking. This guy fought him. He reportedly here, he pushed at least one of them and maybe punched one of the other ones. He was fighting with him. So yeah, they should have put him on the ground and kicked his butt a little bit. That's all fine. You start bashing the dude's head into the concrete after you've already got 3 guys on top of him and you're kneeing him in the guts, which you can people don't realize what a good body shot can do to your like you can kill somebody like that.
It is dropped.
Especially somebody pinned to the ground and you're kneeing them in the side. You get them in the kidney or liver just right, you can kill them. So no, they went too far. They lost their head because this guy was fighting him. The police. You got to get it through your head. The police are the armed enforcement wing of the government. That's their job. Their job is not to be nice and to look good in the parade. Their job is to do bad things to the bad people to get them to stop doing bad things so that we can all go back to doing good things. That's the job description. And that involves doing violence, and that involves doing untoward things sometimes. But that also means we need to hold our police to a very, very high standard so that they know where the line is. So when they get in those moments, they know exactly where the line is and when to stop. That's just the truth of it. If you care about something, you hold it accountable. And I care about policing, and I care about police. And good police want good accountability against police that go too far because that makes their job harder. And I know people are going to get upset and people are going to do that, but that's just the fact. If you care about something, you hold it accountable. And these guys need to be held accountable, and it looks like they're going to be. All right, I got to get out of here, buddy. Have a good day.
See you soon. I'm going to take a break because I need to go get more coffee. So with that in mind, thank you so much, Mr. Donaldson, for being here on the Asylum from his own show. Herd Tell Radio, heard every morning. 7 o'clock, and we will see you again tomorrow, I bet, or at least your show. I like that very much.
Yeah, we'll be on every day. See you later.
See you later, man. See you soon, and let's see, for everybody else, let's do the break. We'll be right back after these messages right here on the Big Talker. your asylum and a refuge, your refuge in a world gone mad. Yeah, I need more coffee. See you in a minute.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. We're learning more about some of the personal legal issues surrounding New Hanover County Commission Chair Julia Olson Bozeman. A judge has denied a restraining order request made by Olson Bozeman against her estranged spouse, Angela. The court found there was insufficient evidence to support claims of physical violence. Olson Bozeman is accused of withdrawing $118,000 from the couple's joint bank account on July 25th, the same day the couple is said to have separated. Court documents show Olson Bozeman as seeking alimony, equal distribution of the couple's assets, and payment of attorney fees. A hearing is scheduled for this Friday. A Wilmington man has been indicted by a New Hanover County grand jury for his involvement in a July Carolina Beach shooting. 41-year-old Robert Travis Fitz was indicted on a number of charges, including assault with a firearm on a law enforcement officer and 2 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia. On July 2nd, Carolina Beach Police Department officers were attempting to serve warrants on Fitz. During the encounter, officers shot him multiple times. The State Bureau of Investigation later cleared the officers involved of any wrongdoing. Novant Health recently sent letters notifying MyChart users their confidential medical information may have been shared with Facebook parent company Meta. The letter says the bug that caused this is no longer active, and the company has taken what it calls appropriate action. It's unclear how long the bug was active, but it began sometime around May of 2020. And 2022 has been a great year for the North Carolinians who have been trying their luck at the lottery. So far this year, their earnings have raised nearly $930 million for North Carolina education. The NC Education Lottery says it's increased sales every year since 2006, raising an average of $2.5 million a day for education programs. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. A bit more quiet weather in store for us here in the Cape Fear, although we are going to see our fair share of clouds. Temperatures will get into the middle and the upper 80s inland of the coast. Coastal areas will climb into the low to middle 80s with the best chance of showers arriving later this afternoon. Now, as we head towards the overnight hours tonight, not going to rule out any stray showers sticking around, but mostly cloudy skies will do it as our temperatures drop back down into the low to middle 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
This week on All Things Brunswick, our guest will be Chad Adams. Chad will be joining us to discuss recent events in the news and much more. Join us 6 p.m. Tuesday right here on The Big Talker.
Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
This week on Living Fit After 50, our guest will be Bjorn Mohagen from Best Choice Roofing. Among the topics we'll be discussing is how to protect yourself when hiring a contractor. Join us Fridays at 1 p.m. right here on the Big Talker Network.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. I hope y'all can help me help you. I would like you to have a better morning program than the one that's currently here. So please go to the Big Talker website, hit the email link, and send a request or a comment or whatever you want to call it to have a real morning show host. Someone who has experience, someone who's been here before, somebody who's already part of the Big Talker family. I think Mr. Chad Adams would be a far better host at this than I am. I would still be here every day pushing buttons and making things happen. But I wouldn't have to try and entertain a crowd that I don't understand. If I played a bunch of music that I'd written or played, you guys would be extremely happy. Just shut up and play music. That's what you're good at. Shut up and push buttons. That's what you're good at. But I will do a morning show to the best of my ability. Well, I don't have much ability. It's like asking a one-armed man to wallpaper your house. And that's why I'm a little, what are you thinking about? I don't know what I'm thinking about. I don't really have that capacity. I'm still doing good to fill in the day's work. And that's why when my guests are here, I'm in, good point. Just remembered. I am extremely excited that 1 week from today, we will have an extremely smart person on the show from my homeland in Nuevo Mexico. It'd be lots of fun. Yes. Dr. Olivares is a PhD mycologist at the New Mexico State University in Nuevo Mexico. Soy de Albuquerque, Nuevo Mexico, but very few of you are going to understand that, and that's fine by me. I mean, white people conquer a whole lot of countries, and we just didn't bother to learn any of the languages except, we take a few words now and again. We took smorgasbord, which now means all you can eat for $3.99, Golden Corral or whatever. As long as you have your double ARP discount card, or if you're an active or retired military veteran, you get a discount on your meal. Like going to White Castle. No, so we will have Dr. Olivares on to speak, because she was one of the people cited in the article we read last week, I believe it was, with Dr. Cahoon trying to understand how a 2,400-acre mushroom has grown under Oregon and is causing problems and can be indicative of other issues. Perfect. Look at that. All right, I got friends coming. We will have more on Thursday. From the zero... I'm not going to keep this straight. There's a lot going on the planet, and I just don't have those type of neurons connected. Zero Prostate Cancer Run Walk. We will have Matt Miller, the director of the South Atlantic chapter of Zero, the end of prostate cancer, on this event. I had the date for it a while back, but zerocancer.org would be the website for more information. We will have him on Thursday. Like I said, next week, the mycologist, which, here's one thing cool about being curious. You learn stuff, right? So when I first read the article about the decline of the striped bass population in the Cape Fear River as indicative evidence of Chemours, DuPont, bad stuff, I was, okay, I need to read more and find out about this guy. And then I discovered this guy is a limnologist. What the hell is a limnologist? I'm thinking, the guy who does the installations of linoleum floors. I mean, limnologist. What? And it turns out limnologists are scientists who study rivers. and tributaries and watersheds. So marine biology is usually oceanographic, and he is an oceanographer. So he understands saltwater oceans, he understands freshwater rivers, he understands biology, like the actual biology, and then the specialty of marine biology. It takes a special type of intellect and diligence to become a PhD in anything. So to become a PhD in mycology in one of the most arid states in the Union is something that I find incredibly curious. I mean, I grew up in New Mexico. Mold just didn't happen. There just wasn't enough moisture. I mean, you had to actively try to grow mold. It's not like being in North Carolina, where all you have to do is turn out the light and you have mold. After every rainstorm, we have a neighbor up the street, and between his yard and the yard on the other side of the street that I have to cross to get out of here, after every rainfall, there is the term or the nickname is a fairy ring, which is basically a bunch of toadstools that grow in a semi-circular spiral pattern. And he'll have 3 or 4 of them in his yard, and they're tall. They're like, 6-8 inches tall, a good 4 or 5 inches across on the cap. And it's like, man, somebody gonna have a good pizza. And then I remembered, I have a mycologist coming on, and that's going to be one of the questions I have for somebody who understands mycology. And if you don't know what mycology is, you're going to want to tune in 1 week from today at about this time to meet Dr. Olivares. And she will educate all of us on the humongous fungus present under the earth of Oregon. It might just blow your mind. And let's see. I should say, hey, thanks for hanging out. I think I have some Morse code coming in. Oh, no, it's a signal. Ah, it's a signal that it's time to go to break. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after these messages and another cup of coffee. Wow. Where did this come from? This is pretty sweet. Well, I tell you what. The Asylum, Your Refuge in a World Gone Mad. We'll be back. You're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier internet station for news and talk radio programming. Find us online at bigtalker.live.
MusicRewind.com is serving cafe culture, 100 songs to enjoy with your coffee. A perfect blend of music from across the globe.
Mi vida, vaya con Dios, mi amor. Won't you stop and take a little time out with me?
Get cafe culture today at musicrewind.com or call 855-798-5556 and pay only $21.98 for this 4-CD world music collection. Use promo code CAFE55 to save on shipping. Take the journey with musicrewind.com or call 855-798-5556. Remember promo code CAFE55 for reduced shipping. This offer is available for a limited time to U.S. residents only and cannot be combined with any other offer.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. We're learning more about some of the personal legal issues surrounding New Hanover County Commission Chair Julia Olson Bozeman. A judge has denied a restraining order request made by Olson Bozeman against her estranged spouse, Angela. The court found there was insufficient evidence to support claims of physical violence. Olson Bozeman is accused of withdrawing $118,000 from the couple's joint bank account on July 25th, the same day the couple is said to have separated. Court documents show Olson Bozeman as seeking alimony, equal distribution of the couple's assets, and payment of attorney fees. A hearing is scheduled for this Friday. A Wilmington man has been indicted by a New Hanover County grand jury for his involvement in a July Carolina Beach shooting. 41-year-old Robert Travis Fitz was indicted on a number of charges, including assault with a firearm on a law enforcement officer and 2 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia. On July 2nd, Carolina Beach Police Department officers were attempting to serve warrants on Fitz. During the encounter, officers shot him multiple times. The State Bureau of Investigation later cleared the officers involved of any wrongdoing. Novant Health recently sent letters notifying MyChart users their confidential medical information may have been shared with Facebook parent company Meta. The letter says the bug that caused this is no longer active, and the company has taken what it calls appropriate action. It's unclear how long the bug was active, but it began sometime around May of 2020. And 2022 has been a great year for the North Carolinians who have been trying their luck at the lottery. So far this year, their earnings have raised nearly $930 million for North Carolina education. The NC Education Lottery says it's increased sales every year since 2006, raising an average of $2.5 million a day for education programs. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. A bit more quiet weather in store for us here in the Cape Fear, although we are going to see our fair share of clouds. Temperatures will get into the middle and the upper 80s inland of the coast. Coastal areas will climb into the low to middle 80s with the best chance of showers arriving later this afternoon. Now, as we head towards the overnight hours tonight, not going to rule out any stray showers sticking around, but mostly cloudy skies will do it as our temperatures drop back down into the low to middle 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
This week on All Things Brunswick, our guest will be Chad Adams. Chad will be joining us to discuss recent events in the news and much more. Join us 6 p.m. Tuesday right here on The Big Talker.
Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
This week on Living Fit After 50, our guest will be Bjorn Mohagen from Best Choice Roofing. Among the topics we'll be discussing is how to protect yourself when hiring a contractor. Join us Fridays at 1 p.m. right here on the Big Talker Network.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
So welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Here we are back in the real world. Or we were until I lost my glasses. All right. Back to good, back to good. All right, let's see. Stupid humans on the planet. Why not? Keith Conrad has a good handle on this. Let's see. Vatican's exorcists face burnout with huge numbers of claimed possessions. Does it shock any of you that a lot of people have needed exorcisms lately? I would like to read this story. Oddee, ODDEE.com. I've never heard of this joint, so this could be just hilarity, parody, or I don't know. You wouldn't think exorcists would get overworked, but here we are. That's a good way to start. It's not easy being an exorcist. You have to meet the strangest people, battle the forces of evil, and all you get as a reward is a little girl spitting split pea soup in your face. And then you have to do that up to 50 times a day. Anybody would get tired from that kind of job schedule. It's no wonder, then, that the Vatican's official exorcists are fast heading toward burnout. This website is very difficult to read because they have crap all over it, so give me a moment. A new survey found that the devil-battling priests are seriously overworked. Not only that, they're struggling to get support from higher-ups in the church for their soul-saving efforts. Carried out by the Vatican-approved University Pontifical Athenaeum Regina Apostolorum. The hell? I'm just going to call it Pontifical ARA, whatever. The survey covered 120 Italian exorcists with a grand total of 290 exorcists in the country. We'd say they got a pretty good sample size. That's almost half. According to this survey, some priests attend as many as 30 to 50 exorcisms every day, but even that may not be enough. The numbers of claimed possessions are rising. Nobody ever said driving out the demons would be easy, but there's a limit to everything. It was frightening. To give you an example of what exorcists face on a daily basis, we can look at Father Giuseppe Bernardi. Not to be confused with, never mind. He detailed a recent case he attended in an interview with the Times of London. Father Bernardi was called on to help a reportedly hysterical young woman. Among her symptoms was jumping over pews at church during confession, physically assaulting monks, and spewing insults in foreign languages, including Latin. It was frightening, horrible, also because she alternated between 3 different voices, and a witness told Journal of Vicenza. The woman's father believed she suffered from mental illness, while her mother believed she was clearly possessed. To get to the bottom of the matter, Father Bernardi said he had to contact psychologists on his own after receiving no assistance from bishops or the church. Well, keep in mind, it's just set up on vapor. After his interviews, Father Bernardi sided with the mother on the matter of possession. Of course he did, job security. He performed a 9-hour exorcism. I don't think you're doing 50 of these a day. The math just doesn't work. Performed a 9-hour exorcism, which was successful according to media reports. I'm thinking after 9 hours, the girl was like, man, just leave me alone, whatever. Lack of official support. Like Father Bernardi, many exorcist priests are frustrated by the lack of recognition and assistance from the church. This is despite Pope Francis himself publicly endorsing exorcism. The crazy is ripe on this planet. In 2014, he officially recognized the International Association of Exorcists. Really? He has also spoken in public about the necessity to exorcise unclean spirits. It's called prison. Christ's entire ministry is a struggle against the evil one in its many manifestations: healing from illnesses, exorcisms of the possessed, forgiveness of sins. Pope Francis said during a 2021 devotion. But despite Pope Francis' dedication to the practice, the priests carrying out exorcisms in the field are left mostly to their own devices. Most desperately, they need aid in contacting reliable psychologists. No, you don't have trouble in contacting them. They just don't want to answer. Keep going. It's part of the official exorcism procedure to seek the help of certified experts in psychology who were around, of course, in Jesus' time when exorcisms first began. So, yeah, psychologists were the reigning sport of the time. It's part of the official exorcism procedure. Their aid is necessary for establishing whether the possessed is truly taken over by the Prince of Darkness. I mean, Ozzy doesn't have that much to do with it. Or merely suffering from mental illness or another physical ailment. Merely. Everyone who has ever been to a psychologist or psychiatrist's office should be offended by that term. Merely suffering from mental illness. Oh, the imaginary demon has possessed my soul, or merely a mental illness. Okay. Black market exorcisms. Oh, this should be interesting. We're not sure oh my God. We're not sure if Satan has improved the productivity of his wicked ways or what's going on, but the numbers of possessed are growing steadily. It's hard to get up-to-date estimates, but some priests have talked to the media about the number of cases. In 2018, Sicilian Prince Benigno, stated at the time, some Sicilian priest stated at the time the Vatican was seeing 500,000 cases of possession per year. According to him, that marked the threefold increase over just a few years. 500,000 cases a year. Ridiculous. All right. What you're saying is in like just a few years, everyone in North Carolina would be possessed. Faced with these and it's only in Italy apparently, because I don't think the Sicilian priest or this other guy, Benino or whatever, Burrito, they're not coming to America to exercise or perform exorcisms. If they came to exercise, they should go to Full Circle Fitness. They'll get the best deal and probably the best care personalized to what they need. But anyway, apparently, faced with these unprecedented numbers of possessions, the wait times to see an exorcist are getting longer and longer. Meanwhile, the demons are free to have a field day with the afflicted person. My God, how far are we going to take this imaginary crap? The lack of access to exorcists has created a bizarre black market for exorcisms. If the official church-sanctioned priests can't get to you, you can now order an exorcism online. We are not long for this planet. Thank goodness. Of course, the people carrying out these DIY exorcisms are rarely qualified to do so. Some of them may not even actually be priests. They may just be pedophiles in robes. I don't know. The Vatican has strict guidelines for how an exorcist should happen, in addition to consulting medical experts. Wait a minute. Time out. As much as I love psychologists, they cannot be considered medical experts because they do not have a medical degree. I'm going to go back up in the story, and I'm going to point this out. Where is it? The woman's father, this is going back to Bernardi, the woman's father believed she suffered from mental illness, while her mother believed she was clearly possessed. To get to the bottom of the matter, Father Bernardi said he had to contact psychologists who are not medically licensed. Therefore, they are not medical experts. So already, a lot of this article is showing that it's not very fair, first of all, and Kauplia, I don't know. I'm guessing he's trying to slide this by saying it was either a deranged possession or merely mental health. We just had a whole section on mental health not an hour ago. So if you didn't catch her tell, go back, listen to that, and then this will make a lot more sense. Let's see. Of course, people can. Some of them may not even actually be priests, including medical experts. In addition to consulting medical experts, okay, so that would be a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. If you don't know the difference, this person clearly does not. Official exorcists are supposed to perform the ritual discreetly behind closed doors. Well, they left out the word doors, but clearly it was implied. To avoid it becoming a spectacle, like a movie scene. But if you're less than scrupulous self-taught, self-taught exorcist, doing the deed publicly is basically free advertising, so why wouldn't you? A self-taught exorcist certainly meets errors, I will say more. It also requires a period of apprenticeship, as happens for many professionals, said Palia, whatever. But the people whose souls the devil has sunk his claws into are desperate. Unless the Vatican hires more exorcists, they may be out of options. And if there is any argument for my statement that until we abandon religion for reason, we will not know peace, that would point it out. Holy cow. And here's more arguments for abolishing any, just get rid of all religious influence in our policies, in our country, in our rhetoric, everything. Religion, sex, they're private and should remain that way. I should not know whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. I should know that you are a good person or not by how you behave and your actions. The same with your sexuality, right? None of that do I care about. If you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're an a-hole, you're an a-hole. Right? And it depends on how much silly you decide to participate in as to whether I'm going to be a part of what you're talking about. And in the case of religion, first of all, it's been a control mechanism for millennia, for eons. You can actually use the term eons, because that's how there's been. It was the core. If you want to talk oldest trick in the book, finding a way to separate yourself and be considered superior to another human, religion's the best way to do it. I got one coming out of NBC News. See who wrote this. Minyavan Burke wrote this. Missouri pastor says congregation is poor, broke, busted for not buying him a luxury Movado watch. Carlton Funderburk, probably a friend of Sean Whalen, the Lions Not Sheep guy, cutting out made in China, selling it as made in USA, lying piece of crap. Carlton Funderburk, the senior pastor at Church at the Well, issued an apology video Tuesday for his inexcusable remarks in an August 7th sermon. Until we abandon religion for reason, we will not know peace. A Kansas City, Missouri pastor who said his congregation was poor, broke, busted, and disgusted for not buying him the luxury watch he wanted has issued an apology after his remarks caused a stir on social media. Apparently not within the congregation, but on social media. You feel me? It's like when we were talking about the other day, the referendum, I believe it was in New York, and nobody voted. Not even the people that were who wrote the referendum. Nobody. I can't. Let's see. Where are we? Though there is quote to this pastor. Though there is context behind the content of the clip, no context will suffice to explain the hurt and anguish caused by my words. I've spoken to those I am accountable to and have received their correction and instruction, he said. I have also privately apologized to our church, who has extended their love and support to me. Ha! They should have sent you straight out the door. Go do something marketable. Because all you're doing is grifting. That's straight up grifting. This is like begging. This is like Trump work. This is how Trump would do his employees. I pay you the least that I can get away with, and you can't buy me a decent watch? In a video clip of his sermon posted on TikTok, Funderburk berates his church members for not honoring him with a Movado watch. Quote, "This is how I know you're still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted because of how you've been honoring me. I'm not worth your McDonald's money. I'm not worth your Red Lobster money. I ain't worth your St. John's knits. Y'all can't afford know-how. I ain't worth y'all's Louis Vuitton. I ain't worth your Prada. I'm not worth your Gucci," he said in a nearly minute-long clip. At one point, Funderburk tells the congregation that a Movado watch can be bought at Sam's Club. Nothing like discount religion, ladies and gentlemen. And y'all know I asked for one last year. Here it is, all the way in August. I still ain't got it. He said, y'all ain't said nothing. Let me kick down the door and talk to my cheap sons and daughters. Holy mackerel. And they kept him in the church. I'm guessing because nobody else wants it. Anyway, the video, there's a little prologue. The video was posted by the Kansas City Defender, a digital media company, as of Wednesday. It has been viewed more than 500,000 times. Many people in the comments condemned Funderburk for preaching about material items. That would have been my last day in his church, a commenter wrote. I would have left so fast and loudly. Oh, no, sir, said another. Another wrote, I missed the scripture about the Movado watch. Funderburk said Tuesday that his comments do not reflect my heart or my sentiments towards God's people. Yet that's not discernible in the clip, he said in his apology. Therefore, I offer this sincere apology to you today. No context could erase the words I used. No, but when somebody shows you their true colors, you should believe it. Until we abandon religion for reason, we will not know peace. I don't know who else needs to hear it. Here's one to absolutely not care about. Mariah Carey and feud over Queen of Christmas title. And here's one. This is stupid humans. And tell me this is Florida. Please tell me this happened in Florida. No, it's Ohio. Oh my God. I've been to Ohio. I lived in Ohio. I couldn't get the hell out of there fast enough. Okay, go away. Get off of me. Okay, so it's not going to let me read it. But apparently, the story is that a couple was arrested for having sex on a Ferris wheel. This is who we are, ladies and gentlemen. I think, well, the story was coming out of Ohio, but I couldn't see enough of it to determine if the actual event happened there or in Florida. Maybe somebody can chat in or call in or let me know where that came from. I got a few minutes. Let's do the date in history. Mount Vesuvius begins stirring on this date in 79 AD. On feast day of Vulcan, Roman god of fire, which goes on to destroy Pompeii. So, yeah, let's not piss off the gods, all right? I mean, if we do, it'd be like, right here, right now. Why wait? Scottish patriot in 1305, William Wallace, Scottish patriot William Wallace, in 1305, is executed for high treason by Edward I, the first, of England at Smithfield, London, and today we know them as having fantastic barbecue. 1942, Battle of Stalingrad, 600 Luftwaffe planes bombed Stalingrad, 40,000 killed. That was helpful. 1943, 50th day of Battle of Kursk, USSR, largest tank battle in history, ends with Russia's defeat of Germany. Over 10,000 tanks take part. Nearly 250,000 combatants killed. 1996, Osama bin Laden issues message entitled "A Declaration of War Against the Americans Occupying the Land of the Two Holy Places." We are not wrapped uptight, man. The sooner the sun explodes. Anyway, let's see if I can see this story. More stupid humans. New York Post saving me again. Nika, oh man, Shakhnazarova. It's a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, good Lord, getting past the pictures first. Ooh. Take two. One couple opted for a not-so-traditional approach to hosting a gender reveal party. I should read the headline. Bizarre gender reveal party boasts stripper pole and dancers. One of the people was quoted as saying, just why? While many go for the standard balloon popping or cake cutting spectacle, mom-to-be Maria Popa decided to have a stripper pole displayed front and center at her bash. What's more, the pole wasn't there as a prop. She had dancers perform their tricks. The party video shared on her TikTok account, which often features clips of herself pole dancing, has racked up a whopping 6.1 million views in just 3 days. Holy cow. And the thing is, it's a draw, right? We are a disgust. We should not be on this planet. The video was shared on the Reddit page TikTok Cringe, which features some rare clips people come across on social media. Eagle-eyed Reddit users were quick to spot that Papa's video didn't actually reveal the gender of the baby, but instead the spread she put on for the big day. The gender reveal dash. Let's see. So what gender was it? Or was it twins, boy, girl? I have so many questions, wrote one person before another asked, so what's the gender? A third puzzled viewer wrote, I mean, they are both very talented at this, and this is original, but just why? Why? At this point, is just an excuse to do something ridiculous and have a laugh. I'd bet most of the parents doing those gender reveal things are self-aware, of course, added. But much to the delight of the frustrated viewers, Popa uploaded another roundup video of the day, which indeed included the customary gender reveal. The video acknowledged that the happy couple is expecting a boy as one of the pole dancers popped a balloon that had blue glitter inside of it. Oh. The inhabitants of this planet are just so tiring. Can I just say that? Y'all are just so tiring. Yeah, it's time to take a break. Thank you very much. We'll be back after these messages right here on the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Please don't breed. Just don't.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. We're learning more about some of the personal legal issues surrounding New Hanover County Commission Chair Julia Olson Bozeman. A judge has denied a restraining order request made by Olson Bozeman against her estranged spouse, Angela. The court found there was insufficient evidence to support claims of physical violence. Olson Bozeman is accused of withdrawing $118,000 from the couple's joint bank account on July 25th, the same day the couple is said to have separated. Court documents show Olson Bozeman as seeking alimony, equal distribution of the couple's assets, and payment of attorney fees. A hearing is scheduled for this Friday. A Wilmington man has been indicted by a New Hanover County grand jury for his involvement in a July Carolina Beach shooting. 41-year-old Robert Travis Fitz was indicted on a number of charges, including assault with a firearm on a law enforcement officer and 2 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia. On July 2nd, Carolina Beach Police Department officers were attempting to serve warrants on Fitz. During the encounter, officers shot him multiple times. The State Bureau of Investigation later cleared the officers involved of any wrongdoing. Novant Health recently sent letters notifying MyChart users their confidential medical information may have been shared with Facebook parent company Meta. The letter says the bug that caused this is no longer active, and the company has taken what it calls appropriate action. It's unclear how long the bug was active, but it began sometime around May of 2020. And 2022 has been a great year for the North Carolinians who have been trying their luck at the lottery. So far this year, their earnings have raised nearly $930 million for North Carolina education. The NC Education Lottery says it's increased sales every year since 2006, raising an average of $2.5 million a day for education programs. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. A bit more quiet weather in store for us here in the Cape Fear, although we are going to see our fair share of clouds. Temperatures will get into the middle and the upper 80s inland of the coast. Coastal areas will climb into the low to middle 80s with the best chance for showers arriving later this afternoon. Now, as we head towards the overnight hours tonight, not going to rule out any stray showers sticking around, but mostly cloudy skies will do it as our temperatures drop back down into the low to middle 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
This week on All Things Brunswick, our guest will be Chad Adams. Chad will be joining us to discuss recent events in the news and much more. Join us 6 p.m. Tuesday right here on The Big Talker.
Folks, the sad truth of it is most of what we're seeing in the news cycle is just noise, and it's recycled noise at that. Nothing informative, nothing that actually helps us discern the times that we live in. That's why we started doing Heard Tell. Every morning right here on Big Talker Network, 7 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m., we talk and discuss the issues of the day, culture and politics with knowledgeable guests, no yelling, no caterwauling, just grown folk talk about the issues that matter. Join me, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning for Heard Tell.
My husband had a gun. Him and his friends would go shooting. The ammunition, unfortunately, was not stored separately. In a million years, we never thought that Emily could. There's a hole in our family that can never, ever be filled.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. With safe gun storage, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Whatever. Hey, welcome back for another half hour of, incompetent radio programming. Right here on The Big Talker. Brought to you by, me. Yeah, we'll just stop that right there. Big Talker website, bigtalker.live. Download the app for Android and iOS. I am very excited about this station. The station itself does carry very good content. Just not this show. But if you are tired of hearing crap from other stations that are rehashing the same crap that everybody else is yelling about or all upset about or whatever the latest hate mongering is all about, You can come here and we will tell you stories that are unimaginably... No. Look, here, let me just give you an example, all right? I don't even want to go with the headline yet. Let me first just tell you that it's from Florida. Oh, crap. Okay. Another Fox News. Please, we want to sell you ads without $5. Yeah, screw you, man. Anyway, a Florida suspected drug dealer arrested after sending a random text to the county commissioner. And the question Keith asks says, have you ever sent a message to the wrong person with disastrous and or hilarious results? Disaster is often hilarious to the people not involved. Reusable toilet cloth viral trend is making people cringe. Twitter wants another way to save the earth. Can I read this one, or is this another ad happy? My God. Reusable, let's try this again. No. Who wrote this? Staff. Buzz Staff. News18.com. A net zero company invention for sustainability. Take 3. A net zero company invention for sustainability is drawing ire on Twitter. It's a reusable cloth towel to be used instead of toilet paper after using the facilities. It involves toilet cloths from which a piece can be pulled out, folded in thirds, and preferably be used after wetting it with water. After use, the piece of toilet cloth is to be folded inward, stored in a wet basket or bag, then thrown in the washing machine. After that, it's to be refolded and thus reused. Basically, it's a diaper wipe. These washable and reusable toilet paper provides a cost-effective and eco-friendly way to clean yourself without creating waste or spending a mini fortune over time. The company website states. While many have suggested that a bidet, that was going to be my suggestion, would be a better solution, others have said this violates basic hygiene rules. If I saw this is one Twitter's dispute, because there's a video on how to use our unpapered toilet cloths. If I saw this in someone's house, I would leave and never come back. There has to be another way to save the earth, another rotor put. Y'all? So apparently in the video they have a bidet. Y'all, she has a bidet already. Why you gotta have reusable toilet paper? Water is right there, for goodness sake. Just gonna say, I'm seeing a bidet sprayer attached to the toilet. Let's see in the video. I'm all for saving the earth and stuff, but is there not a, I don't know, different way to handle this? Why is it so hard for white people to just use a Loda? I don't know what that is. L-O-T-A? Loda? What is Loda? Come on, chatters. Come on, somebody. There's feces in that washing machine. Recently, there was another similar invention that had upset Twitter users. The laundry jet is the first vacuum-powered laundry chute that transports laundry from any room with ports installed to the laundry room, which basically means there's a suction system that sucks your clothes in when you throw them towards it and transports them directly into the laundry room, provided you have one. There's also a roti making machine that will do everything from mixing and kneading to puffing. The catch? It costs some money I don't understand in a denomination that I've never seen before. But it's apparently 1 million of them. The Rotomatic completely automates the process of making rotis, whatever. But the price has made many social media users do a double take. Claiming to be the smarter way to roti, the website for the Rotomatic reads, Rotomatic is the world's first fully integrated solution that measures, mixes, kneads, flattens, cooks, puffs, and delights all in one. I don't know if that's worth 1 million anything. Just go to a restaurant, man. $5. I'm done. But yeah, the toilet paper, Now, if Once upon a time, we were at war with this little tiny island off the coast of the Orient called Japan. And since then, we have become, I don't know, dependent on their technology. I mean, and you know, like, and it started way back with the Sony Walkman. But anyway. The one thing we have not adopted from them in their lifestyle is how they handle the bathroom. They have bathrooms in the middle of the street. Costs like $0.25. And the room scrubs itself when you're done. So even if you were one of those MAGA guys that would like to smear your feces all over the walls, this thing actually sprays the whole room down. Sanitizes it over and over automatically so each person gets a clean, if kind of moist. But, you know, it does what it can to dry, but, you know, water's water. You get the idea. Oh. For those of you who have 4 bowls every morning and only one of them is of cereal, Snoop has a new deal for you. Go away. Bad ad. Natalie Nisa Alond from USA Today. So yeah, if you've had 4 bowls in the morning and only one of them was cereal, very delicious for shizzle. Snoop Dogg launches new cereal, Snoop Loops. Watch out, Toucan Sam, the D-O-double-G is tailing you. Rapper Snoop Dogg has launched a new brand of breakfast cereal called Snoop Loops across the United States. We're taking over the breakfast game. When we say more marshmallows, we mean you won't have to go on a treasure hunt looking for marshmallows and Snoop Loops. Master P, who reportedly co-founded new food line Broadus Foods with Snoop Dogg, posted on Instagram this weekend announcing the cereal. Very delicious for sizzle. You won't have to go on a treasure hunt looking for marshmallows and Snoop Loops. We have more. The cereal is gluten-free, sugary, colorful, and full of marshmallows and produced by Broadus Food. Snoop's family-owned food production company. His company also sells oatmeal, grits, pancake mix, and syrup under the Mama Snoop banner. Oh my God! They even have a little cartoon character on there. Oh, that's just cute as a button. See, according to the company website, I should do that. Can I do that? I would really like to do that. Let's do that. All right, save image to the desktop. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun, shall we? Because you have to see this. Let me pop this up here. Give me a moment. This is just too funny. Snoop Dogg, my man. All right, y'all ready for this? Because I thought it was I thought it was a joke. I really did. When I saw this story a couple of days ago and just didn't bother. As much as I love ragging on some of these guys, right? This is the OG dude that's like, you know, super tough, and you know, these guys are all badass and carrying guns and being all, you know, in this and in that and all kind of stupid. Come on, hurry up. This is boom. Delicious multigrain cereal. What is that thing? What is that creature? It looks like a match between a fox and a corgi that's been painted in Disney blue. What is that? Can I should continue the story, shouldn't I? I should. According to the company website, I still don't know if this is Broadus or Broadus Foods. You can see it up here. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. That's the logo up there. Broadus Foods. Broadus? Because it looks like, broad, there's a broad or Broadway. But it could also be broad because, toad. Spelled kind of the same way. I don't know. That's just... Anyway, we should continue the story. I'm just cracking up over this box. According to the website, Broadus Foods is a movement to making a difference in the lives of families and communities. Because we're going to make a profit and my family is going to benefit. We stand for integrity, hard work, and giving back. We strive to provide foods that are deliciously made with the highest quality. The site reads, Broadus Foods was founded to continue Mama Snoop's legacy of her generous love and passion for feeding families in our communities. From the same guy who was firing hand pistols. I mean, wasn't Snoop Dogg criminal history? 4-word search. Busted for possession of cocaine. Yeah, give me that Wikipedia. I want to see this. Because this is who we're now giving money to. They say people can't change. But just remember. Busted for selling cocaine. And for the next 3 years was incarcerated. Let's see. No longer recorded how many tapes. Okay, is that his greatest crime? I mean, these are things we want to know. Oh, they're just glossing that part over. Oh, they're going to collectively put it under legal incidents. Broadus. Oh, so his real name is Brodus, or whatever. Okay, now I get it. The family name is Brodus, and he was arrested in connection with the death of a member of a rival gang who was apparently shot and killed by his bodyguard. Let's see, what else? Violation. Firearm was found by police. Possession of a handgun. Oh, and his punishment was to record 3 PSAs. Okay. 2006, detained at John Wayne Airport. Found a collapsible police baton in his carry-on bag. Arrested again for possession of marijuana, cocaine, and a firearm. Oh, a couple of his entourage were members of the Rollin' 20s Crips gang. Right, so this guy has been OG gang since forever, and now he's making kid cereals. I mean, if you're going to turn your life around, you might as well, top down. So, I guess in some ways, good on you. But in some ways, I'm still a little, skittish on this type of turnaround. Let's see. New Zealand human remains found in suitcase bought at an auction. Well, bonus. You get the clothes and the skeleton to put it on. Metal object falling from airplane narrowly misses main capital cop. Ice cream is better for you than granola. Surprising snack study. Probably generated by the ice cream company. Unwanted side of marijuana found in food delivered by DoorDash. I remember this when the guy went back to the house asking for it. Oh, man. Okay. This is fair. This is absolutely fair. Only because I'm that guy. Oh, my God. Dailyhive.com. I can't tell if this is what... yeah, let me go back to our regular picture now, because we're done ragging on Snoop. Vegan traveler says Air Canada served her a water bottle and napkin as a meal. Meal 1 is a water bottle. Meal 2, she took pictures of it. A Canadian writer traveling from Frankfurt, Germany to Toronto with Air Canada says while other passengers on the flight were handed their hot meals, she just sat with a bottle of water after a vegan meal never arrived. Miriam Porter, also known as Karen, the kind traveler on TikTok, posted a video last month on her 10-hour flight showing the meals she was offered, a small bottle of water and a napkin. And of course, 133,000 morons liked it on TikTok. Strapped with a mask. Take 3. Porter told Daily Hive that because her flight was delayed several times, she ordered and confirmed her vegan meal 3 times. Okay. Because that was going to be one of my first questions, is like, how do you know the vegan in the room? Don't worry, they'll tell you. However, the meal did not arrive. So if she did ask for it, because obviously she put it out there that, hey, I'm a vegan, and I need a break. I need my food. Why is the internet jacked up in my house again? I don't like that. Anyway, I will continue soldiering on. My vegan meals did not make the flight, I was told, and there was nothing they could do. Porter reached out to several flight attendants until one attendant was able to bring her an apple, banana, dinner roll, and granola bar from the business class. I was very grateful. On Porter's flight with Air Canada to Germany, she says most of her first meal was frozen solid, and her second meal was completely frozen. It was a slab of ice. She said adding the food was inedible. I asked the flight attendant, and they told me it was from the dry ice, and sometimes this happens. The person across from me had ordered a kosher meal, and her fruit salad was also frozen. We laughed about it. This trip was not the first time Porter has been left out when the meals are handed out to passengers, she said. This is why she has prepared meals in the past. Unfortunately, between the delays and rushing to the airport to catch her flight to Toronto, she says she didn't have time to prepare her own meals for her flight back home. I was hoping the vegan meals I ordered were there since I had just confirmed them and was hoping they would not be frozen. There was really not much more I could do. Out of the 1,000 plus comments on Porter's TikTok video, many have said they've experienced the same while boarding their flights with a number of airlines. One person said when they flew with Air Canada, the vegetarian meal offered was a shredded carrot on white bread. Another person commented they flew with Delta Airlines and received a small bun with 3 slices of zucchini. Many others with a vegan diet said they've had to go without food because the airline mostly catered to vegetarians instead of vegans. Just keep in mind, this is the distinction between psychologists and psychiatrists here, okay? Porter says she understands airlines are short-staffed and are facing a lot of criticism due to high travel demand, so she does not blame the employees that are doing their best. She adds that many passengers have canceled flights, lost luggage, and had longer delays than her, but she says the lack of food options is much harder for travelers with severe allergies. Porter has reached out to Air Canada about the food she was served and the delay she faced when traveling back home. Daily Hive has reached out to the airline but has not heard back. So, come on, man, 50-50. You're half the problem. Oh, hey, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Whenever I hear my phone, it's like, okay, in the middle of the show. Oh, hey, idiot. Our own Chad Adams tonight is going to be on All Things Brunswick with Bill, Dan, and Greta. So you're going to have 4 smart people that are going to be talking about stuff that people who normally tune into this station actually care about. So yeah, tune in 6 o'clock tonight. Bill, Dan, Greta with Chad Adams. I don't know if you remember Chad. Let's see if I can evoke some memories. See if this doesn't sound familiar.
Please stand by.
Yep. I think that's the one. You haven't heard that in nearly a year. And if you want to hear that some more, you really should go to the Big Talker website, click on that email link, and send a message that says, hey, why do you have this idiot on the morning show and not Chad Adams? I'm telling you, he'd be much better at this than I am, but he's not going to listen to me, but he might listen to you. So the more of you who send in emails saying, hey, why do you have a liberal idiot who doesn't even want to be there doing the morning show? Oh, yeah, no. I ain't worried about that. A lot of stuff I ain't worried about. But if you are, BigTalker.live, hit the email link, send a message that says, hey, where is Chad? I mean, you're going to get a taste of him. You're going to understand why he should be the morning show host. This evening at 6, right here on the Big Talker, popping off live. Babies are going to be live up in here. Facebook, YouTube, Twitters, all the channels we is in right now. In fact, you can chat to them channels. You can call me at the 910-444-0281 number. And you can let us know how you feel about Snoop's new cereal. Have you tried it? I wonder if it's vegan, or whatever. But this is one of the, I have to admit that I am blessed, because if it's an allergy or if it's just trying to be different, whatever. If it's an allergy, man, I'm totally legit, because I can't go near cats. Cats will kill me. Just straight up. If you want to kill me, just throw a cat in my bed at night and I'll be dead by morning. So there's your assassination plot by animal. Anyway. The advantage of being omnivorous are plenty. And I only go so far. I mean, I'm a big fan of cow and chicken. And even the little four-legged pig. The two-legged pig, not so much. They're a little fatty. I don't know if any of you caught that one, but I'll just let it go. But it is, I mean, like, my duo partner, Johnny, he'll try scorpion on a stick. I'll try it. Dude, I mean, you talk about adventuresome. I thought I was adventuresome. I've climbed buildings and been in places I really shouldn't have been and saw some stuff that's like, oh, that's how it works. But nah, this guy will chomp down on anything. If it's a food in your country, he'll try it. Monkey brain? Hey, why not? Sorry, Faces of Death reference. But seriously, if it's a food, he'll try it. And that's I have to take my hat off to that because I couldn't do it. Could you? What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? Chocolate-covered ants or anything like that? You know, it's still like, I remember once trying a bison, I can't remember if it was a bison steak. I think it was a bison burger. And the first two bites were like, wow. The third bite was like, ooh, game. I taste game. Same thing with pheasant. Oh, you'll like this. It's breast of pheasant. And it was like, game. Something about it just didn't register, right? Because I guess I'd been raised on, instant food because during the time of my childhood, saving time was the latest, greatest thing, I mean, just imagine the stampede. Many of you weren't even alive, but there was once upon a time, kitchens did not have a microwave. And a scientist working on a radar dish, I believe, a microwave radar repeater dish, had a chocolate bar in his pocket, and it melted. Now, it melted, not because it had been in his pocket and he had a hot thigh, but it, turned to goo in seconds because it was hit with radiation, and he thought, I'm onto something. When the first microwaves popped, they were, $2-3 grand a piece, which is like $500,000 in today's money or something stupid. And the stampede to get these things because of how much time it saved. Right? You could nuke a hot dog in 30 seconds instead of boiling it for 2 minutes. And the advertisements at the time is that you could cook an entire meal in 7 minutes or something like that, right? You could put a chicken in there or a turkey in there with stuffing and potatoes and yams and all that and cook the whole meal for your whole family in just, 20 minutes or no. Came out tasting like it, or with the texture of a tire. Anyway. But we were all excited about saving time. We weren't paying attention to the fact that it was, poisoning us. But that's our human nature. That's what we do. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, 6 o'clock tonight, Chad Adams. You can call into that show, 910-444-0281. You can talk to or ask Chad questions directly, or anybody on the panel for that matter. And if you were to ask Chad Adams to be the morning host, I would encourage you to send an email through the website rather than interrupting the program, which is going to be all about conservative conversation amongst the four people, Bill, Dan, Greta, and Chad. So, 6 o'clock tonight, do that, because I will be there. I will see you there. And with that in mind, yeah, that's what I forgot. We're going to do it like this. Yeah. I like this idea. So with that in mind, and now that all the buttons have been pushed, we will see you tomorrow morning right here on the Big Talker Network, bigtalker.live. Please send an email letting Chad Adams know you want him as a morning show host. And until that happens, you will see me tomorrow morning right here on the Big Talker. See you then. Bye. You're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier internet station for news and talk radio programming. Find us online at bigtalker.live.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with